Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, end of quarter, everyone. How is everyone doing? Good morning, Patrick. What's up, Christo? How are you doing? Hey, everybody in the background. Waiting for some people to filter in. Strong rally off the PCE numbers, personal consumption, personal income numbers. How you doing, Sterling? Uh, Hope you had a good month in the car business this month. You probably did. Let's see. Also remember, Monday will be quieter and Tuesday is July 4th. Markets are closed. So let's just get that out of the way. Core PCE month over month coming in line. The year over year coming in a tenth of a point better, but this is still elevated. This is the problem. A lot of core of this PCE is still getting stuck up here. I mean, the markets are rallying tenth of a point better, but it's stuck above this 4 mark. Uh, the headline PCE coming in much better than expected, 3.8 versus 4.6. But remember, the Fed watches the core, and the month over month of the headline number coming in at 0.1 versus zero point 0.5. Now, this is good for workers. Personal income point up 0.4 versus zero point 0.3, and prior was 0.3, but that can lead to services inflation, which makes inflation stickier. Personal spending dropping. Personal spending dropping. So expected 0.2, coming in 0.1. So money up, spending down. Uh, Real personal consumption was roughly flat. What else do we have today? Good morning, Jacob. What else do we have? We have the Chicago PMI. I'm really watching to see if we can get bouncing out of the gutter. But other than that, minor number at 845. Then we have the final Michigan consumer sentiment for June. All right, going to see if that is still strong. And we have the inflation expectations, all right, which are still rough, pretty elevated, coming in a bit, but we'll see how they come out. So still pay attention to 9 a.m. because this number can still move the market. Uh, then very minor Dallas Fed PCE for May. Then we got the rig counts, and that's pretty much it. Let me just double check over here. Yeah, that is it. So, and just for Monday morning, remember Monday morning is the markets are open, and we have some ISM numbers. So, and then it pretty much quiets down. And then Tuesday's a holiday. Everything's up except Nike missed on earnings, beat on revenue, but that is gapping down this morning. They reported yesterday afternoon. The only thing this morning was Constellation Brands. All the mega caps market was rallying strongly after those numbers. You see every sector is up. Technology, comm services, financial, and consumer cyclical leading the way. Fed Watch tool. Let me do one more refresh. See if this has changed anymore. Bear with me, please. Again, the probability is pretty much getting to that level that in how many days do we have left? 26 days until the next rate hike decision, and it's pretty much getting baked in. And this is interesting also. Now it's baked into pause through the January 2024 meeting and one cut starting in March. So, and that one cut taking it back to where it is now. So definitely the market's saying, okay, these rates are going to be higher for longer, and we're getting to that level of pricing in one more cut. Also, still in extreme greed going into the quarter end, and we are up at this prior very high level. Does that mean the rally has to stop? No, but I am watching for stuff very closely. Now, I'm not expecting it to roll over today. These gamma still, we're going to have to see what new positions really get opened at the beginning of next quarter. But the only major level is still this 4,400. We're trading 4,468. So not expecting that to come into play today, but we'll keep watching it. Also, we are in very positive gamma, but it does start peaking out and dropping off right above of 4,500. It starts to drop down. So keep that in mind also. And Constellation Brands was the only thing, and Nike did miss yesterday, what we talked about. All right, so we had the percent B buy back on the 27th. We've got the follow through. My next target was this 44.62, which we've gone through this morning. Above there, we're about 44.78 is the next key retracement harmonic. We are in potential double top territory. Again, never has to trigger. Came back down to the daily rotation zone, rotation entry, percent B entry, and now we've completed the level at least to a double top. The probabilities, as long as it closes above the 62.5, says we should still hit this 44.78 at least. So we'll be watching for that. Bigger picture, that double top pattern, if it were to trigger, would finally take it back into the weekly rotation zone. But you still see well below the prior breakout level. So that's a potential topping pattern, but to bring it back to the weekly rotation zone. Again, because it's a potential, people keep confusing this, does not have to trigger, but it's something we'll keep on the radar screen. What else do we have? So I went over those minor levels today. You can see the strong push up from the numbers coming out at 7:30. So beyond that, on any retracement, if the sentiment numbers come out, it's about 44.50 to 44.55 is your key major support level. Everything else has to be done on, with this push, has to be done on the short-term basis. The only other pausing level going into the open on any pullback would be about 44.65. But really watching for that still continued upward push. NASDAQ, which was lagging a bit, that actually closed down yesterday, bouncing up, trading at the next harmonic 15,264 on a continued push higher, though. To take this into potential double top territory, it has to get to 15,320. So we have 15,310 to 15,320 as the next key level. Beyond there, it's 15,397. This is not in potential double top territory just yet. Remember, daily cycle still climbing, weekly still rolling over. So once this looks like next week we'll have a top pattern. So next week, let's see how this starts behaving after July 4th. The Dow, to get into double top territory, I should say potential double top territory, needs to get to 34,630. And then the next key level is 34,750 area. But anything above 34,630 takes it into potential double top. And, you know, the Dow's been flat, but it is reversing enough of a move in here. It is still, you may wonder, well, it's very, very flat. This would reverse enough of a move, but this could only possibly take it back to the 200, back to 33,000. So that's the only potential tops we have right now. The Russell above the 75. So this looks like also, let's just see. Yeah, the Russell, even if we went off the more conservative side, which is the one I'd use, the second and third, first and second targets are within the move that started it. So I'd be shifting it over here because this would bring the final target within there, and based off the way the market's been trading. But right now we don't know where the right side is going to top yet. But 1916, then 1929 is the recent high. I would be really focused above 1916 at 1920. Hey, Christoph, thank you very much for the super chat. Everybody, big shout out to Christoph. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A wonderful loyal members channel. Hey, the other Christoph with the K. Thank you again. Good morning. Who else? Hey, Richard. All right, so we do have some potential reversal things to watch for next week. I'm watching some follow through though, but also going to be watching for this afternoon to see if we get some end of quarter selling coming in, especially since a lot of people are going to be turning this into a long weekend. All right. So even though markets are open Monday, you're going to have a lot of junior traders manning the desks because a lot of people are taking it off on Monday. Good morning, Royal Palms. Sure, we'll get to that. Christoph with a K. Again, no fear in this thing. Still, we're not going to hit it today. It's still just market charts with 15 is the key level. And probably if we start getting above 15, I'd be watching for that double top to trigger. DAX, let's just flip this around real quick to use. So 16,295, 16,300 is what I'd be watching for on the close for Europe. The notes, trying to find a little support, dip down to 62.5 and bouncing in. But I'm going to be watching this 111.29 on a closing basis. So far, a strong bounce off the 62.5 area. The 10-2s, going to be watching for this gap to fill in a potential minor bottoming pattern here. Dollar index, look at this. Finishing the double, spiking up, and then the reversal. The double is done with the dollar. The double is done. So key support now coming in at 102.28. But let's just check one thing really quickie. Let's check one. Oops. I'm also watching for now more of this channeling flag pattern. I want to see if we flip this. Remember, we reversed between the 50 and the 62.5. So the thing that gets me back into, besides completing the double, the thing that I need to see to get back into bullish mode is a close above 103.20 roughly. And then I would be targeting the upper end with this rising channel pattern and the 200 coming in. So that could be the next potential bullish play. We'll have to see with this pullback though. Crude triggered the double on the 4 hour. The last closing 4 hour. It is not triggered on the daily, but it has triggered on the 4 hour, and that's just this minor pattern that could take us back to the 72.50 area possibly. Off key support. So, another one. Natty Gas we'll take a look at more later. Still basing at this, it pulled back really nice, this 266 area, trying to rotate back up. Gold, this was fascinating yesterday. Remember, in order for me to continue with the next push down, needed to close below 1913 area. Did not bounce, dipped down and bouncing a close above it. So, no close below that 62.5 level yet. I'll be seeing if this can get a little follow through. Still, there's no significant, we still could get a bounce in here, but anything into the daily rotation zone, I'd watch for the next rotation over. But if we do build a base and don't close below the 62.5, that's what I'm keeping an eye on. If we do, then I've said before, target area is down towards the 200 for me. What else? What else do we have? Pound reversing the double, hitting this first target and reversing back up. So what is the invalidation level now? The invalidation level is 127.52. Euro, still not a great pattern. I'll only be watching next week for a breakdown play above 108.50 or a breakout play roughly above 109.45. Bitcoin coming up. This would be technically a very sloppy double top, but I'm going to see if it can break out with some strength above 31.5. And this would be the next levels, and we'll get to some other stuff in a second. I know we had to ask for coin, so we'll take a look at that real quick. 32,280, 33,117. Let's jump to coins since Coinbase related to Bitcoin. Yeah, it's stalling out to 74.24, but any break above that, the target would be the gap fill from back and the 22nd of March, and that gap fill is 77.14. Still basing yesterday closing right, or sorry, Wednesday closing right at the key resistance level after spiking through it. Yesterday trading between the key now support, resistance becoming support, and the high of Wednesday. So the breakout play would be from this two top area, which technically is a double top. So it would need a 4-hour close below, and it's lower probability since it's against the rotation zone, but a 4-hour close below 70.10. Then it could be a slightly bigger pullback and a pause before that breakout play. Where do we sit? NVIDIA. There is a channeling flag pattern right here. Let's get this roughly there. Would need really a push above about 420 to push into for a potential reversal back up to the prior highs. And we're in the rotation zone. So if you're playing that, that's the level I would be looking at, is around 420. You can possibly get in there slightly earlier, but you see high from the 30th of May, the closing price from Tuesday, the high from Wednesday. All that's lining up. 419.50 is an area that could be a front run before 420, but that's the area I'd be looking if you were looking for something on the breakout. Tesla looking like a slight gap up. Again, what would invalidate this sloppy head and shoulders from before would be 266.21 on a 4-hour closing basis. Other than that, and the next targets, remember the pattern is different from the retracement targets now because it did not hit stop reduction. So the next targets would be 263.50 and then 267.92. All right. Can I pick on BB? I don't use the 200 EMA. It tested out a lot lower, Pep. I only use the 200 SMA. BB. Can I pick on BlackBerry? Remember BlackBerry? I remember that back in the day. Wow. I mean, it's hard to think they still exist. But, well, they beat. Can I pick on it? Doesn't have a great pattern here. Let's just see based off the last retracement. We'll get to the spiders and the Qs in a second. There's your 62.5. So the only thing I had that have to be bullish, remember, everywhere in here is the potential reversal zone between the 50 and 62.5. Reverse back down, pop back up with earnings, and 569. So that's the only thing that would keep it in bullish mode. It need to close above 569. Other than that, we're watching for the gap fill play, and then if that happens, major support coming in back at 469. All right, spiders, spideys. Remember, watch for the, we're going to be in pre-market double, 440.72, trading 441.47. Next level is 442.31. And then the level I'd use beyond that is 443. The key on any rollover, not necessarily today because it's a long way off from the gap fill, but I'd use the gap harmonics for the people who know that. The full gap fill would be 438.11. And the Qs, the key level to take it in double territory is 369.04, trading 367.54. Key support on the Qs is coming right in at 366.30 to 366.50. Your next major level on, not necessarily for today, but on a continued rally would be 370.94. So that's where all that stands. Real quick, snowflake, the snowflake. Uh, that's a very sloppy doubling pattern, but let's see. Valid. I'd be watching for that first target major. So the thing of on a reversal, a close below 169.80, 169.51. I would be watching for the bigger pullback if it closed below 169.51. There's a fair amount of selling pressure from Snowflake up here. From not just the prior, you see anywhere above this 182 to about 185. It's at a fair amount of selling pressure. Tried to break out, but then quickly reversed. Pop up and reverse down, and then a reversal from yesterday. So anywhere up in here, I'd be watching for continued selling pressure. The only thing that for a minor breakout play, it really have to get intraday could be about 186.36, but it really has got to get a close above 194 to sustain anything. But that's even popping into a higher consolidation. So this would only be short-term trading. Again, if it closes, though, below 169.51 would not be targeting the bullish side for the time being. It could pull back all the way potentially to 147, but I'd really be focused on the 155 to 158 level. That's where we sit. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Remember, in about 34 minutes, do not ignore the consumer sentiment and inflation numbers coming out at 9 Central. And then it quiets down after that. So it's all going to be final quarter end adjustments, and watch for some potential end of quarter selling and profit taking this afternoon. Don't be surprised if we do get some of that, if we continue the rally this morning, especially after the European close. I shall talk to everyone next week. Have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful trading day. Bye for now.